Hi, long range hunting. Today we're doing a comparison video between the Arken EP5 and the Arken EPL4. All right, let's dive into this. Now, starting off, both of these rifles are custom precision rifles. They're M40s. One's in a 300, one's in a 308. Both really great guns. Makes it really nice for testing stuff like this because it's extremely accurate, and so you can really adjust and check the tracking without having to worry so much about the gun, you know, the actual accuracy of it and how much it's off and etc. like that. So having really nice rifles set up is really nice. Now, I got a lot of requests for this. Again, this is the original. This lighter weight version was set up for those guys that wanted it to be a little lighter. Now, these go by ounces. I'm going to give you pounds and the ounces just so you have a better idea as far as weight. Starting off though, both of these are first focal plane scopes. If you look at the length of them, they look identical. Realistically, they're only 0.2 of an inch difference. The lightweight version is 13.8 inches and the regular EP5 is 14 inches. Now, when we go to weight, the EPL4, the lightweight version, is 24.71 ounces and the EP5 is 39.2 ounces. To break that down roughly, that means that the EPL4, the lightweight version, weighs 1.5 pounds. The EP5 is an additional pound for around 2.5 pounds. Again, that's rough math, you know, just to break it down so it's easier to understand. So we're talking about a difference of about 1 pound. Now, personally, I don't care about the weight. I care about the function. If this one's 1 pound more, but it's better scope, then I'm always going with the better scope. Now, a lot of people might think that's heavy for a scope, but like my Smith & Benders weigh about the same as this. And that's one of the best scopes you can get. So I'm not worried about the weight of it so much. For some people, that is a real factor. Let's look at the differences between these. The EP5, let's start out with, this has a 34 millimeter tube, whereas the lightweight version has a 30 millimeter tube. Our objective end, or objective lens, is a 56 millimeter on the EP5. The EPL4 is a 50 millimeter objective. They are pretty close in power settings. The EP5 is a 5-25, whereas the lightweight version is a 6-24. You can get these in both MOA or mil, but the tube on the EP5 definitely gives you an advantage on that because it does give you more. How much more? Let's dive into that. So the potential elevation range for the EP5 is 110 MOA or 32 mils. Now, the lightweight version, the EPL4, is 68 MOA or 20 mils. Now, what is that as far as the difference? That means that the EP5 has 42 MOA more of vertical adjustment than the lightweight version. And if we're going in mils, that's 12 mils more of adjustment. And that makes a big difference when you're really stretching out there. Now let's talk field of view. Obviously, the larger one, the EP5, is going to give you a little bit more field of view. Let's dive into that real quick. The EPL4, on highest magnification, you have a field of view of 4.65 feet. And on the minimum power setting, at 100 yards, you have 18.55 feet of field of view. That's what you're going to be able to see inside your scope. Now, let's dive over to the EP5. The EP5 at the highest power has 4.9 feet of field of view, and on the bottom power setting, 25.3 feet. So you do get more with this. And the further you are out, the more you're going to see. So having a nice large field of view is a great thing. The other factor that has to do with it is light coming in. Your optical clarity and how these scopes work, it needs to suck in light. So having the larger objective lens and the larger tube is not only going to help you get better clarity in there, more light, but it's also going to help in those low light conditions because it can pull in more light. Now, both of these are first focal plane scopes. Again, both are available in MOA or mil. As far as windage, the EPL4 has 41 MOA or 12 mils for the windage. As far as the windage on the EP5, that's got 55 MOA or 16 mils. Now, one of the things that I did kind of criticize when I was using this is that it has 8 mils per revolution instead of something like 10 or 15 or something. It's a little bit easier. When you start getting into more rotations, it's a lot easier to count and add up. 10 plus 10 for 2 full revolutions is 20. That's very easy. So it's a little bit faster on the math. That's just kind of a personal thing. I really like it where it's more in line with, something more even. Again, that's personal preference, but with the EP5, that was an easy fix because this has 10 mils per revolution. So that makes it really nice. If we're looking at both of them, the EPL4 has 20 MOA or 8 mils per revolution, whereas the EP5 has 25 MOA or 10 mils per revolution. As far as cost, they're very close. They're not a huge difference. The lightweight version is going to run you around $400. The EP5 is going to run you around $530. So we're talking just over $100 there, not a huge difference. Now, just like with the length, the eye relief, so how far you have to be off in order to properly see through there, is very, very close. The EP5 is 3.4 inches, where it's 3.5 for the EPL4. So, I mean, we're talking very small differences. It's almost the exact same. They were both very easy to get behind and quickly acquire that sight picture. Some scopes are really, really picky, and you kind of have to finagle. I never had any problem with either one of these getting behind and having, a perfect sight picture very quickly. So that wasn't a problem with either one. Now let's dive into my personal thoughts on each one, having used them. I used them at 2 different locations. One was at a buddy's range. And you guys saw the footage for that. The other one was down at a ranch I was hog hunting on, shooting a little bobcat. So you can see the comparison between these two on around 500 to 800 yards, just so you get a similar idea of what these are like. Now, again, differences in conditions is going to make a big difference. The EPL4, I was doing it in broad daylight. The EP5, by the time, because I was night hunting hogs, I got up and did everything. The sun was going down. A lot of that was low light conditions. So, just something to look at. Overall, though, the EP5 is the better scope. Realistically, the only thing that the EPL4, the lightweight version, has an advantage on, in my opinion, is price, because it is cheaper, and the weight. It is lighter. However, it can't compete with the EP5 as far as performance goes. Both are not bad. I did point out that I don't like the scope or the capped windage adjustment. The turrets on this, the EP4 or EPL4, are different. They feel like they're two different scopes turrets as far as adjustments. This is a little bit more quiet. It's not as positive of adjustments. This one is very positive and a little bit louder. So you can definitely hear a difference, which, you want them positive, you want all that. Both of the zero stops were the same. It's a pretty easy system to use. It's not hard at all to use the zero stop on these. So not a big deal there. They're identical, so there's no real comparison there, but you get better light, better quality of glass, better turrets. I like these big exposed turrets. The parallax is a lot better on this one as far as it's very smooth. It's not stiff. This one's a little bit more stiff, and you really have to get on it in order to move it. So I really did the EP5. It weighs a pound more, sure, but it's a much better scope in my opinion. Is it worth going for that extra $130? Absolutely. For what these are, they're amazing scopes, both of them. If you really want the light side, I took this out to distance, and you absolutely can, and you can do it, but you are going to be limited. You're not going to have as good a quality of glass, which, I always say that's one of the number one things you should focus on, because if you can't see it, you can't shoot it. And it doesn't do quite as well in low light conditions. Both of them are going to withstand whatever gun you throw them on. There's not a real worry about that. They do say that they are rated up to 50 BMG. I haven't tested that yet, but both these guns have a decent amount of recoil. This 300 will definitely shake and rattle some stuff loose. Had no problems there. The rings, same rings on each one, just a different height. Both worked really well. Not a big deal there. Both have good power settings. Adjusting the power on both of these isn't that bad. It's pretty much the same. I do have the throw lever on there. I do like the reticle that this one has, where it's more of a Christmas tree style reticle. I prefer that. In all honesty, both of them are going to do the job. The EP5 is just going to do it a little better. And when you are out in the woods and you are in a low light condition, or something's bedded down and blending in, that extra optical quality can make a big difference. Having a larger field of view is always a bonus, in my opinion, because I've had times where I'm sitting on an animal and I'm getting ready to shoot, and all of a sudden another one walks in, and I have that situational awareness, and hey, that's a better animal. That's happened several times to me. Or if something's coming running in, and you need to not shoot, because you don't want to potentially wound another animal or hit the wrong animal or something. So having some situational awareness is not a bad thing. Both of these are not bad as far as their power range. You're definitely, with any scope, the higher you go, the more grainy it's going to become, the less optical quality that it's going to have. That's just no matter what condition you're in. A lot of this is the same as far as looks and function on a lot of stuff. I mean, they're not too different. The back end of this is designed the same. We're looking at the ocular focus. They're both the same. They feel fine. I mean, there's not a lot of differences besides size, weight, and quality. You get better glass with this. You get bigger turrets with this, more internal adjustment, more light pulling through. So if you guys are going to go for it, I'd recommend the EP5 over the EPL4, but I'm not here to tell you guys what to buy. I'm here to give you the factual data and then give you my interpretations based on my experience of doing this for a long time. And you know, you can choose to follow that or not. It's up to you guys, you know, whatever you want to do. If you guys have any questions on any of this, I can always dive into that in the comments. Love hearing from you guys. So honestly, I was very impressed with these. You know, both scopes, you know, you have no problem using them for long range hunting. I've already explained what my preferences are and which ones I think are better, and what some of the limitations are on these. But either way, they're decent scopes, especially for the money. I've already rated both of these in my videos on the individual scope itself, and now you've been able to see some footage and stuff. I hope everybody has a good season this year. I've been seeing a lot of guys dropping some really good animals, some really good shots. It's exciting to see. Hopefully I'll have some stuff like that for you guys pretty soon once rifle season runs along for deer here. But everybody be safe out there. Enjoy your hunting season. Happy hunting.
Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notification bell so you won't miss out on any future video. And happy hunting.